You see the big smile on my face. This is real. It's coming from my heart because
Yes.
imagine at our company, we have a saying, one saying that we have, it's called the miracle of the day. The miracle of the day. Because every day we have a miracle at
Mhm.
Energized Health. We have another one that we reverse the irreversible. So when you have those two sayings at your company, you got some wild stories, brother.
That's it.
Oh, I believe it.
but but I'll just share a few with you. You know, some of my favorites is there was a young woman. She was in a wheelchair. She had horrific spinal issues since she was a little girl.
Mhm.
They told her, you're just basically going to they told her mom she's going to have a miserable life, and that's just her life. Well, this poor girl, her face was covered in acne. She was very obese. Bottom line, she lost 38 inches in a wheelchair.
Mhm.
38 inches sitting in a wheelchair
Yeah.
and her face completely cleared up. Her skin's beautiful. Her skin's beautiful. She turned into a beautiful young woman. But what's
Mhm.
the funnest part of the story to me, that was the most dramatic? It wasn't that she lost 38 inches, which realized 38 inches is bigger than the screen people are watching us on,
Yeah.
by the way. She lost 38 inches. It's longer than a yardstick, just so you can imagine, So she went from, that to, that. Her face just became beautiful. So it was completely covered in acne to just beautiful, like Snow
Mhm.
White, skin. But this was the most dramatic thing. This young woman came. I was speaking at the Marriott Convention Center in Cool Springs, Tennessee. This young woman comes to the event to share on stage her
Mhm.
story. And these were her words, not ours. She gets on stage and she says, let me tell you, she said, I was the most negative, and she used some other words that I don't use in my
Mhm.
vocabulary. You could fill in the blanks for yourself. You know, young woman that you could imagine. She said,
Mhm.
I was miserable. I terrorized my mother. I terrorized people in my life because I was miserable. I felt like a prisoner. She said, so yeah, did I lose 38 inches? I sure did. Did I lose a whole bunch of weight and fat? I sure did. She said, did I lose all my acne? I sure did. She said, but you don't want to know what the greatest thing is I lost? A bad attitude. She said,
Mm.
today I have
Mhm.
joy, I have peace, I have contentment. She said, I have a life. And to me,
Mhm.
that was one of our most dramatic testimonies because that young woman changed from the inside.
Mhm.
Her physical appearance, night and day, metamorphosis. Metamorphosis. She went from the caterpillar to the butterfly.
Mhm.
But more importantly, her spirit, her soul, her mind had a metamorphosis from the caterpillar to the butterfly.
Yeah, and that really is the biggest difference between what we do here at Energized Health and any other health protocol out there is we focus on the tri-being, body, mind, spirit. It takes all three of those components to really truly achieve the fullest level of health that you are meant to have. And so that's our main core focus here at Energized Health is getting you healthy in all areas of your life. It's very transformative.
Yeah, and John, let me ask you a quick question, not to put you on the spot, but let's just say, do you weigh about 200 pounds, just about approximately?
About, yeah.
Okay. So look, we had two brothers in Indianapolis, Indiana, two of them, two brothers in Indianapolis, Indiana. They both, each individually, lost you. They lost 200 pounds of fat from inside their
Oh my
body.
God.
They both did. So one of them started, then his brother joined, about 3 or 4 months in. They both lost over 200 pounds of fat, no sagging
Mhm.
skin. No sagging skin. And people say, well, how come all those people on The Biggest Loser have to go get 7 skin surgeries and your people lose 200 pounds of fat and they don't have to get any skin surgery? It's because when you are hydrated, you have the health of a grape,
Mhm.
right? What's the difference between a grape and a raisin? Hydration, right?
Mhm.
So those people on The Biggest Loser, they're losing weight, but most of the weight they're losing just water.
Mhm.
So of course they're just becoming raisins. So they're all wrinkly and shriveled up and their skin looks like a Shar-Pei dog. So of course they got to go get it all cut off. But our people, they're tightening up like shrink wrap because they're becoming a healthy grape. So that's another cool story, right? Because it was two brothers and 200 pounds of fat. That's a lot, for someone to lose. By the way, they both did it in 1 year. They both did it in 1 year, lost 200 pounds of fat, in a year. But I'll just share one other one with you because I could share thousands of stories with you. This was a fun one. 92-year-old couple, 92 years old. The man and the woman, both the same age. And they came to us and said, hey, could you help us? Can we do your protocol? And I said, well, you guys could do it as long as you promise not to die on me. I said, that'd be bad for my marketing, if you guys kick the bucket. And they said, man, we'll stay alive as long as we can. Alive as long as we can. I said, all right, let's go. So they both do the transformation. This man at 92 years old gains 15 pounds of solid muscle at 92 years old. Oh, yeah. And then he gets all obsessed with the rowing machine because the guy could row for an hour. And he gets obsessed with the rowing machine. So he enters the competition for the senior division, which is 70 and over. Realize he's 22 years older than the guys he's competing against. He wins the Tennessee State Championship, qualifies for the Nationals in Boston. He goes to Boston and wins the national championship for 70 and over at 92 years old. And then his wife, she said, John, she goes, no, my energy is through the roof. Like, I got to do something now in my life. She goes, I'm sharper than all these politicians. She goes, I'm running for mayor. She got elected mayor of her city in Tennessee at 92 years old. I love that.
Oh my gosh, that's so impressive. I love that. These are just some astonishing stories that anybody who's listening gets to hear of the kind of power that this opportunity has, that these two lovely individuals have put together and put out there into the world. So thank you guys for making it a better place and helping people do those amazing things. If you want to save time on watching all the episodes but still get all the gold nuggets that we find from interviewing these 7, 8, and 9-figure entrepreneurs, then you can get all of that inside of the 2 Comma Club newsletter. Just go to 2ccnewsletter.com and subscribe.